Social conservatives love Trump but want more from DeSantis Commentary. Former President Donald Trump earns high marks for his pro-family platform, while Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has made combating wokeness an everyday calling card on the campaign trail, somehow remains largely a question mark. At least, that is, according to the American Principles Project. Influential in social conservative circles, the think tank will soon release a primary scorecard assessing where each Republican presidential candidate stands on 6 issues, such as banning sex change surgeries for minors, prohibiting biological men from participating in women's sports, and combating what they see as gender ideology in the classroom. Their assessment, drawn from public statements made by each candidate, was disputed by some and remains controversial. Obtained first by Real Clear Politics, the scorecard reflects an increased appetite among social conservatives for a president who will play a more active federal role in the ongoing culture war, even if that means hurdling the limited government guardrails many on the right once held dear. American families are under attack by the Biden administration and Democrat politicians nationwide, said AP President Terry Schilling. Before adding, it is critically important not only that the next Republican president be pro-family but also that he or she take action federally to defend families. This kind of litmus test seemed to surprise Trump, who has repeatedly pledged to fight for parents' rights, but who also told supporters this summer, while commenting on the shifting political landscape, "Of course you fight for parents' rights. Whoever thought that you'd have to say that as a politician?" On this front, Trump has explicitly pledged that his Department of Education would impose severe consequences, and even pull federal funding if school officials suggest to students that they could be trapped in the wrong body. For that pledge, AP gave the former president their check of approval. The group also gave Trump a passing grade for promising to enact a federal ban on sex change surgeries for minors and to bar federal funding for any such operation. Similarly, he earned high marks for backing legislation that would use Title IX to prohibit biological men from competing in women's sports and for vowing to rescind Biden administration policies that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. For some voters, particularly evangelicals, the primary could come down to picking a champion in the culture war. Traditional issue sets, like the economy and foreign policy, still take center stage, but there is a feeling among social conservatives that they are under attack in a fight they didn't pick. And now the party wholeheartedly embraces that conflict. When it comes to the culture war, RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel told RCP last year, Democrats are the aggressors. Perhaps no Republican embraced this fight as eagerly and as early as Ron DeSantis. Ahead of the curve, the Florida governor delighted social conservatives, not just for promising to make his state where woke goes to die, but for matching that rhetoric with action throughout his time in office. He was lambasted for signing legislation banning gender transition surgeries for minors in Florida. He has earned numerous rebukes from the White House for signing a 6-week abortion ban. He went to war with Disney after the corporation balked at a Florida education law that prohibits classroom discussion of sexual orientation through 3rd grade, a fight that Trump later panned as unnecessary, and yet, under 4 of the 6 listed criteria, AP gave the governor a question mark. Their litmus test includes a federal ban on sex changes for minors, a ban on federal taxpayer dollars funding sex change procedures, implementing federal women's sports protections, federal bans on transgender indoctrination in schools, federal regulation to protect kids from online porn, and a federal ban on racial discrimination in government. Brian Griffin, a spokesman for the DeSantis campaign, told Real Clear Politics that the governor has been clear on these issues and supports all of those efforts within the confines of the Constitution. Despite the criticism, the governor has discussed each of these issues previously, often pushing the debate farther to the right and pressing his competition to follow him. "I got that done in Florida," DeSantis said in July when a local Wisconsin radio show asked if transgender surgeries should be criminalized. "And I think that should be done across the country."